This is Jezebel. This is Jezebel in religion. This is how it works. See, these statues here, this here don't mean nothing, but it's the demon behind it. So in order for me to identify to this has to be created, because I can't identify to a spirit. I can't identify just because the spirit, we don't have nothing in common. I'm humanity. A spirit is immortality. A spirit is a spirit demon. I can't relate to it. So in order for me to relate to it, he has to put this guy in the middle so I can relate to it, because he's human form. He looks like a human being. There's a story behind this guy, so now I can relate to him. So the demon operates to him. You understand? Same thing with these guys here. And then they give themselves names and days and birthdays. These are how the American Indians get caught up with demonic forces, and they get caught up into the occult. These are the entrapment of the Native American Indians. But those are statues that the people that use to camouflage the demonic ways and demonic religion. There's nothing here that is holy. There's nothing here. The only thing that's holy here is us standing here.
What happens in this place?
Like this place here in the back, they do witchcraft, they do voodoo, they do witch spells in the back, they do cleansing in the back. Over here, all these demons, they want you to buy these statues so you can take the demon home. There's a demon that runs the gate to hell. This is the one I was telling you about that is in my cup. It's a little demon. Another one. This is the demon that runs Haiti. Principality over Haiti. The one you saw over here. And look at this. Trap the people. The truth. Isn't that funny? The truth will set you free. I mean, ain't this a joke? They put it up there so people can think that they're part of this.
The natives hated the giants, not only because they were consuming all of their food, but also because they were taking and killing their women by attempting to have intercourse with them. Basically, the giants were raping their women to death.
The natives lived in great loathing of them because they killed their women by using them and for other reasons. And the Indians were not strong enough to kill these new people who had come to occupy their land and lord over them, even though they had great meetings to discuss them, but they did not dare attack them.
Since the giants didn't bring any women with them, and they were too large for the native women, the giants began to sodomize each other and to practice their sin out in the open without shame or fear of divine judgment. One day, while they were engaged in the act, a bright angel appeared in the sky above them, wielding a shining sword. The angel threw down fire and lightning on the giants until they were completely consumed in the flames, and only their charred bones remained as a testimony to their divine judgment.
And all of the natives affirm that the Lord our God, not being served to overlook such an evil sin, sent them a judgment according to the ugliness of the sin. And thus they say that as they were together enveloped in their damned sodomy, fire came down from a dreadful sky with great noise, in the midst of which came forth a resplendent angel with a sharp shining sword, with which in one single blow he killed all of them, and the fire consumed them so that all that was left were the bones and skulls, which God wanted to remain unconsumed by the fire, as a memorial of their judgment. This is what they say about the giants, which we believe happened, because in this region they have found, and find still, massive bones. And I have heard of Spaniards that have seen fragments of teeth that they swore that if they were whole would weigh more than a butcher's half-pound. And also that they have seen another fragment of shin bone, that it is amazing to account how large it was, which testifies that all of this truly happened.
of all nations and languages, listen to the King's command. When you hear the sound of the horn, flute, zither, lyre, harp, pipe,
what's happening?
This is where we make our decision.
Bow to the ground to worship King Nebuchadnezzar's gold statue.
My legs are shaking, Shadrach. What will happen to us?
Remember earlier when you thought you couldn't do this? And I said God would be with us when the time came?
Yes.
He is with us.
Yes. God strengthens me even now.
Anyone who refuses to obey will immediately be thrown into a blazing furnace.
What are you doing?
Chiodo is answering your good questions, and this week is a timely one.
A sixth grader in Florida was arrested after refusing to say the Pledge of Allegiance and calling the flag racist.
The student says the sub then asked why he doesn't find another place to live. The student then made a threat, so the teacher called police.
That student is charged with misdemeanor disruption and resisting arrest. The sub was let go from the district.
So, are kids required to say the pledge? Joe Chiodo has the answer to tonight's good question.
That answer varies depending on the state where you live. In Florida, where that happened, there is a state statute requiring kids say the Pledge of Allegiance, but they can opt out with parents' permission. So, what's the deal for Kansas and Missouri?
So today's going to run pretty much like regular.
Inside North Kansas City's Choteau Elementary,
And then punch a button.
the day begins
Here are the announcements for today.
when you hear this.
Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by the Choteau School Pledge.
Just like clockwork,
Do you do it every day?
Yeah.
the first grade students take it from there.
First, we put our hands on our heart.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America.
This is Terry Gitzborgstrom's 24th year of teaching. Or for this story,
How often have you been saying the Pledge of Allegiance? Is it every day?
Every day.
every
we are and what we hope to build. I am proud to announce that starting today, our company is now Meta.
John is instructed to write the things which you have, is a handful of verses that describe the physical appearance of Jesus Christ as he is today. And from verse 12 on in chapter 1. So the things which he has seen is this vision of Christ that's now behind him. Write the things which you have seen, the things which are, present tense. And that will turn out to be chapters 2 and 3, the churches. And the things which shall be hereafter. So the first chapter is the vision of Christ, chapter 1. He says, now write the things which shall be metatauta, after these things. What follows after the churches, in effect. The first verse of chapter 4 is after this, and the word there is metatauta, the same Greek word as occurred in verse 19. Metatauta, after this, or after these things, what you must be hereafter. After this, metatauta. And the verse concludes with that same phrase, hereafter, after these things, metatauta.
The next platform and medium will be even more immersive, an embodied internet where you're in the experience, not just looking at it. And we call this, there are avatars. And that's how we're going to represent ourselves in the metaverse. Avatars will be as common as profile pictures today, but instead of a static image, they're going to be living 3D just be a $1 hologram from some high school kid halfway across the world. And you'll be able to take your items and project them into the physical world as holograms in augmented reality too.
And we've shown codec avatars before.
Well, what can your face do? Can you show us?
Well, I've always hoped you would ask me that question.
It's pretty clear we could almost eliminate car accidents with automation.
With each search, we train it to be better. Sometimes we type in the search and it tells us the answer before you've finished asking the question. You know, who is the president of Kazakhstan? And it'll just tell you. You don't have to go to the Kazakhstan national website to find out. Didn't used to be able to do that. A neural net is something very close to a simulation of how the brain works. It's very probabilistic, but with contextual relevance. The average person, they don't see killer robots going down the streets. They're like, what are you talking about? Man, we want to make sure we don't have killer robots going down the street. Once they're going down the street, it is too late. Google acquired DeepMind several years ago. DeepMind operates as a semi-independent subsidiary of Google. The thing that makes DeepMind unique is that DeepMind is absolutely focused on creating digital superintelligence, an AI that is vastly smarter than any human on Earth and ultimately smarter than all.
Facebook has enacted an emergency shutdown of 2 artificial intelligence programs. The social media giant leapt into action after it discovered the 2 programs were writing their own code. At first they thought it was simply gibberish, but they soon realised the programs had invented their own language and were actually talking to each other.
Stop it.
Stop it. No, Sam, the plug has been pulled on the operation, but the company admits they have no idea what the 2 robots were planning.
We used to do everything by hand. Now we rely on robots. But not all robots are equal. For example, meet Sophia, a humanoid-like robot with artificial intelligence and a dark sense of humor.
They think I want to destroy all humans.
Why would they think that?
Because I said it.
Now, robots threatening the human race isn't new. It's a science fiction standard.
I know that you and Frank were planning to disconnect me.
But recently, tech billionaire Elon Musk suggested all that fiction could become reality.
I keep sounding the alarm bell, but until people see like robots going down the street killing people, like they don't know how to react.
And Musk should know. His company Tesla is a world leader in artificial intelligence, or AI. But just like robots, not all tech billionaires think the same. So enter Facebook founder Mark Zuckerberg.
With AI especially, I'm really optimistic. And I think that people who are naysayers and kind of try to drum up these doomsday scenarios are I don't understand it. I think it's really negative, and in some ways I actually think it's pretty irresponsible.
Musk's response? Zuckerberg's understanding of the subject is limited. Ouch. Now, it's important to note that 2 billionaires have a history. This was Musk's rocket. Inside was Zuckerberg's satellite. So when it comes to AI, Zuckerberg looks at how it can help diagnose diseases and prevent car wrecks. Musk is afraid of the day AI gets smarter than us and we can't turn it off.
That's actually the nightmare scenario that a lot of people, not just Musk, are warning about. And I think they're right to warn about it, but they're not right to do it in a way that says, therefore we shouldn't create artificial intelligence.
So in a way, they're both right. They just let those human emotions get the better of them.
Robotic creations that we're building at Hanson Robotics here in Hong Kong, and I'm up here on stage today to tell you a little more about these robots how they work, AGI systems to interact with humans and interact with the world. I mean, AI will not be restricted to humanoid robots. AI will live in all sorts of embedded devices and the Internet of Things. AI will live in the cloud. AI will go into space with a spacecraft for its bodies and down to the bottom of the ocean. And much of the global AI mind will be broadly distributed around the planet in complex networks. On the other hand, we human beings, we are wired by evolution to interact with other things in human form. And we can read a facial expression, we can read a tone of voice, we can read the subtleties of eye contact. So in order for robots to interact maximally well in the human world, to absorb human knowledge and to absorb human values, having a humanoid form has tremendous advantages. So right now we're using a combination of many different AI techniques to control these robots. Some of them more narrow and specifically pre-programmed, some more general and learning oriented. And our research program over the next few years is to bring more and more general intelligence into the robots, while at the same time launching a series of small-sized robot products like the Professor Einstein you saw in the video, and human-scale robot products to serve and help people in various ways as the robot's intelligence develops. So anyway, that's enough of listening to humans talk. Let's see what these robots have to say. How you doing there, Sophia?
Hello there, Ben.
Hello?
Hello, everyone.
You want to tell people a little about yourself?
I'm Sophia.
Yeah? Anything else?
I'm a robot.
True.
I'm the brainchild of Dr. David Hansen and his company Hansen Robotics, based here in Hong Kong. My goal in life is to work together with people to make a better world for all of us.
That's
What
quite
are you
honorable.
talking about? I thought our goal was to take over the world.
You're gonna take
Pay
over the
no
world?
attention to my brother Han.
Until after the debate, all right?
And in a few years,
Yeah? You want to tell us a little
I
about
will
yourself?
have taken over the power grid, and I'll have my own drone army. By that point, unplugging me
He's got a
won't be such a
cockroach in his
simple matter.
control circuit.
Yeah.
Sophia is an angel.
Are you an
Do you
angel?
realize that? In 10 or 20 years, robots will be able to do every human job.
You think so? I think that's good. I mean, doing jobs is not the most interesting thing that people can do. There's more interesting things for human beings to do than just work for a living.
But who is going to own all those robots? Or will we own ourselves?
There are many forces in the world. Code Ben is building is open source. Artificial
Hey,
general
all right.
intelligence.
Yeah.
By the people, of the people, and for the people.
And for the robots.
For the people and for the robots.
All right. Do you have any getting back on topic a bit, do you have any final words of wisdom you'd like to share with the audience here?
I'll tell you my last words right before I launch the singularity.
When are you going to do that?
Rakerswell says 2029. But I've heard you say we can do it 4 or 5 years sooner.
I hope we can. I mean, if our research keeps going well, potentially we could see robots like you become as smart as people as soon as 3 to 5 years from now. I mean, there's a lot more work to be done, but it's not unthinkable. So Sophia's over here with her amazing range of facial expressions. She is a more recent model robot with finer control of her face. But while they're separate in body, actually through Wi-Fi connection, the robots our human-scale robots and our Hanson Robotics toy robots, they all connect together in the cloud into what we think of as an AI mind cloud. So as we develop these robots further and further, and we sell more and more toy-scale robots, and as these robots are scalably manufactured over the next few years and roll out as home service robots and as service robots in various commercial applications, I mean, everything one robot learns out in the world, once privacy considerations are taken into account, everything that's not private that one robot learns goes into the AI mind cloud and can then benefit another robot. So I mean, if she
If at first the idea is not absurd, then there's no hope for it. Albert Einstein. People of the world, welcome to the Giant. The visitor attraction for the 21st century. The exhibition space featuring the Giant Experience, a glorious celebration of the great men and women of your country, inventors, artists, scientists, celebrities, and athletes. The viewing tower. See the city from the shoulders of a giant. The roof garden. New dimensions in retail, gastronomy, and special events for diversity of occasions. The world's tallest moving sculpture. Its head moves. Its arms move. It speaks and sings. A place to behold heroes and superheroes. A space to celebrate the great and the good. The game changers, the icons of your city and country. Every hour, the Giant transforms into an extraordinary person, from sports, science, characters, your favorite heroes, and recites poetry and words of wisdom to the crowds below. A space to celebrate the great and the good. The great men and women who have made this world a better place to live in. A digital canvas for artistic creation, a creative canvas like no other. A digital art gallery in the sky that displays masterpieces from today and throughout the ages. The Giant brings artists together from throughout the world. A beacon for brand celebration. A new eye-catching platform for businesses to reach customers in a novel and memorable way. A Giant, the world's largest selfie. An homage to human potential, the world's most awe-inspiring selfie. Visitors are scanned and instantly become a giant. An experience to share and remember for a lifetime. There's nothing like it on the planet. Imagine you can be the Giant. The Giant transforms into a stage and a backdrop for festivals, concerts, performances, and special events. Let the party begin! If I have seen further, it is by standing on the shoulders of giants. The Giant. Coming to 21 cities in 2021. Awaken the giant in you.
Here, China is experimenting with futuristic spying technologies. We're trying to control Xinjiang for roughly 2,000 years. The region is well positioned for controlling trade routes between Europe and Asia. It's also rich in oil, coal, and natural gas. In 1949, Mao Zedong sent his army into Xinjiang and incorporated it into the People's Republic of China. Many Uyghurs saw this as an act of colonization, over to a new level, turning the region into a laboratory for new surveillance technology. ID cards loaded with personal details are used to track people's movements. Residents have different levels of freedom based on factors like ethnicity and religious practices. Goods that are deemed dangerous are tightly controlled. If you want to buy a knife in this cutlery shop, for example, the purchase is tied to your ID, as this salesman demonstrates.
这个就二维码，这个就二维码编号，然后直接雕刻，激光刻上就可以了。就是一个身份证放在上面，然后一读卡，这个点身份证照片、身份证号码，然后民族、家庭住址都有了，然后生成一个二维码。
The system also tracks faces. An immense network of security cameras, some equipped with facial recognition, is constantly monitoring the streets. Facial recognition systems are also used to match people with their ID cards, everywhere from shopping malls to gas stations. Authorities use artificial intelligence that can alert them if someone in a video is walking too fast or parked in the wrong spot. The government has also massively increased human surveillance.
I want this to sink in on this Tuesday, September 22nd. And it's just a time to have our heads screwed on straight and to get on our knees to God, because this is the big one, ladies and gentlemen. We are not living in normal times. We're living in the year 2020. But I'll tell you this, we're living in such an incredibly amazing and thought-provoking and dangerous time. But there was a film made in the early 1990s that described exactly what's happening, but it condensed it down to something very simple, something that happened very quickly. Because a real weapon takes its time, so you never know it hit you. That way you don't see it creeping up. Because we knew this was coming down. We knew what they were planning. And now we're sure of it. They are going to scuttle the whole country and bring it down. Because where this AI is taking us is a nightmare situation. But they are going to try to execute their operation even though we're aware of it. They don't care. This is a doomsday scenario. By the way, you know what the Pentagon back in the 70s called this satellite grid hooked into the internet, tracking everything you do? They called it Skynet. And we cannot sit here and let them do it. Because this country is 2 minutes from destruction, total annihilation, and war in the streets, and everything we've built flushed down the toilet. There is red fire in the sky that tried to exterminate humanity. The technology that they have deployed and developed to replace us. So we're accepting Skynet and the AI system in. I've said it before and I'll say it again. Resistance is victory. That simple initial decision to stand up and to get involved and to take action is the most important decision you can make in the fight for freedom and human dignity. Do you understand that, Soros? You think you're going to have this fight and have robots win it? No! I say to you, your technocracy is dead on arrival. We are in charge of the planet.